We're going live. Mic test. Good evening, gladiators in suits. We're doing an early live today because I got dinner with some friends in a while. But we want to engage you and we want to talk to you about a topic that can be controversial, a topic that can be splitting for some people in terms of yes or no. Let me sort out first our. Let me just fix my microphone on TikTok, by the way, before we start. Checking. May I request our viewers, could you please give me an exclamation mark if I'm getting across loud and clear? And you might also be seeing by now that our topic for tonight is about looks. Can good looks help you succeed at work? Is it true that if you happen to be more good looking, pleasing to the eyes, does it help you get promoted faster? Does it help you get jobs easier? Does it help you fulfill transactions with lesser costs? Do people do more favors for you just because you're the crush ng bayan, right? The crush of the town, for example. I want to talk about this. So I want you to share your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think that it's unfair? Do you think that it's unfair, but it's part of life, and therefore it's a matter of compensating if you don't happen to be good looking? Okay? So I want to talk about this for tonight's session. As usual, this isn't just about the topic. If you have other questions involving your careers, it could be, for example, quitting your job, having a conflict with your manager, saying yes to a job, and you're 5 weeks into the role, but you want to go back to your old job because you realized that it was a better job. All these kinds of questions about your career, we would love to hear them. Type your questions in the chat box and we will find time to answer as many as we can in this 1 hour session. Also, we are going to give away tickets to our upcoming career workshops on public speaking, business writing, leadership, and social media marketing. They're all happening on June 21 and June 24. That is going to be on in SMX Convention Center, Fort BGC, and SM Aura in Taguig. I already see some people typing your answers in the chat box. Kathleen, let's do an attendance check, by the way. On Facebook says, I do agree. Maria Blanco says, yes, it is an advantage to have good looks. Amy Saavedra says it's a plus factor. Amy, why is your profile picture, why doesn't it look like it's an Amy, by the way? Jean says, in modern beauty contest or competition where a transformational organizational mission and vision, I don't understand this part. Yes, it does matter. I'll just gonna read the last part. Okay. Jack says, agree. Daryl says, yes, it will also help you build your confidence. I'm going to be asking the same thing for our folks from TikTok. What do you think about this? Do you think it's going to help people get through their careers better, faster, stronger? What do you think? Please type your answers in the chat box. We would love to hear your answers as well. Jonathan is asking on LinkedIn, why so early today? Because I need to maintain my social life. If I'm going to be on at 9 p.m., and if I do that every day, Mr. Jonathan Choi, I will not be able to see my friends anymore in the evening. So I have to do this as early as now so I can be with my friends for dinner after 7 p.m. I hope that's okay. Is that okay? Can I get an exclamation mark if I can do that today? You guys have no choice. I'm already doing this session as I speak. Okay. Nev from TikTok says, I agree. Having a pleasing personality will help you. Okay. By the way, can I just challenge that? Pleasing personality is different from being good looking. You may be the most beautiful person in the world, but if you have an ugly personality, those two things are different. Okay. Maybell from YouTube says, it can help. but I still believe that skills and knowledge is what some companies look for. Someone who can do the, what is this? Someone who can do the John? I think you're missing a word. Someone who can do the job. Okay, someone who can do the job. Good looks is a bonus. True, but may I challenge you guys? It's easy to say that it's always about the job, but sometimes first impressions matter. So let's say you're not good in explaining, you're not good with numbers, but you're presenting some PowerPoint slides. But you really are so good looking. Sometimes it makes it forgivable. Sometimes you don't get much of the flack from the management team if they think that you're good looking. I've seen a lot of those moments. I've known certain people in my career where they're not really the smartest, they're not really the best, but because they just happen to be good looking, they happen to be the favorite of my boss. And they were they're always forgivable. You know, when they're late with their reports, when it's not the best idea, they don't get scolded for it. So I think that somehow it does. Do you agree? Oh, Akari from TikTok says, wisdom is the best among the rest. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Yes, I can cover that. Carl Sarmiento says on Facebook, yes, it's a plus. It will bring you to places and help you somehow going forward. Okay, I like this answer from Patricia, from Pat. Yes, it's an advantage at the first, but you cannot rely on it. I agree. Short term, it can give you the advantage. Long term, sometimes people will start to see the real version of you. I have seen super beautiful and super handsome people fail, thinking that their good looks or charm can carry the work for them. I agree. Sometimes I Pat, I agree. I realize I've met people in my life, they've became too complacent because in the past they've always been forgiven for their shortcomings just because they happen to be more good looking. But because they've been too complacent, they don't anymore push and stretch themselves to become better. Okay? Ooh, El Santiago says, and I agree with this, it's an advantage, especially during interviews. There's a study published in 2019 by the Harvard Business Review. If you happen to be more good looking, the tendency of the HR recruiter is, number one, to offer you an alternative position if you didn't get the job for this specific interview. Just because the recruiter wants you to stay in the company, even if you're not eligible for the other job. Another example, in the 1990s, a study published again in the Harvard Business Review in one of their journals. American CEOs get promoted in their jobs, not just because they're good and on top of their technical competency, it's also because of this one physical trait. Can I challenge our viewers? What do you think is that one trait? The one trait that will make you successful, that can get you promoted in your job, even if you're not the smartest guy in town. What do you think is that? Redmond. You guys, you actually got it right. Redmond from TikTok says it's height. It's true, it's height. Why? If you happen to be taller, you seem to be more commanding, more authoritative. And for that reason, people literally and metaphorically look up to you. When you happen to be taller and bigger, people think of you as someone who can protect them from harm. And that gives you the charming personality. I also think of this, ladies who are watching this, could you please correct me if my idea is too stretched otherwise? But I also think that if a guy doesn't have the most beautiful face, but happens to be tall, okay? They happen to be 5'10" or 6 feet tall, even if they're not the most good looking face wise, they have this additional appeal, charm, right? As we call in Tagalog, dating, just because they happen to be taller. Sometimes I would make this joke in my motivational talks. When you ask someone, do you think her boyfriend is good looking? And if the answer is no, some of them will say, he's tall, he's nice, he's rich, but it doesn't have to be he's good looking. So they can be compensated by something else. But height can compensate the lack of aesthetic value for your face. Okay? Okay, let me answer this question now from YouTube. Mr. John, is it a red flag if the HR during your job interview is asking questions the day before the interview? Not at all. I think, okay, first of all, it's just not normal for the HR interviewer to contact you in advance and ask if you have any questions. Because usually you can reserve all these things during the job interview itself. I don't know what the reason for it. Perhaps the HR interviewer is a newbie, so they want to know your questions in advance so that they can answer it correctly. I just find it weird. But I don't think it's a red flag. I don't think it's something bad. It's just not normal to ask questions in advance. Pat says, yes, height is important, but also they should be able to speak correctly grammatically. Speak and write. You know, that's the law of compensation. You might be the most good looking person in the world, but you're not just as smart. Okay? Or you might be the most good looking person in the world, but I don't know, you got bad breath. That could be another shortcoming. Okay, I'm going to ask a question from our participants. And before you ask this question, could you please give us a like? Could you please give us a heart if you haven't yet? I'm going to thank our participants and viewers on TikTok. We've got 1,300 likes. We'd like to increase that more further. Thank you. Facebook folks, come on, give us some likes, give us some hearts. We will appreciate that. There you go. Kayo talaga, pag di pa kayo sinabihan eh. That's the only thing that we will ask from you so we can improve our algorithm. Okay, so here's my question. It's a poll. So please write if it's letter A or letter B. If you were to choose an employee, okay, would you choose letter A, someone who is super smart, gets things done, but they're average in terms of their looks? When I'm saying average, across culture, the person's face and body can be considered to be average. Would you choose that kind of employee? Or number two, would you choose an employee who is so good looking, right? Like stunner, like head turner, good looking, but the person's not the sharpest in town, meaning the person needs a lot of training, the person needs a lot of mentoring. And here's the context, okay? So that's letter A versus letter B. Letter A, not so good looking, but very smart, dependable. Letter B, super good looking, but needs to be mentored. But here's the context, and here's the clincher. This employee will be in sales. This person is going to be interfacing with a lot of customers. And the role is for a luxury brand. Okay? It's a luxury bags, luxury shoes, luxury clothing. Which employee are you going to choose? Is it letter A? See? People are going to give me now different answers here. I see some A, I see some B. Okay? Now I'm seeing a lot of letter B. Looking at TikTok, also letter B. Ooh, 1010 from TikTok says, choosing letter B because skills can be learned. I agree. If it's luxury sales, you can't change the face, you cannot change the body, but if you have more patience and if you're a good teacher, you can make the person a better salesman in the future. That's an insight. I agree. But for those who said it's letter A, why do you think it's letter A? You don't care about the looks? Because, okay, I'm going to challenge you. You know, if the person's not the most good looking, I'm also a believer that you can carry it through makeup. You can carry it through clothes. You can also carry it through personality, including voice. I'll give an example. I'm a big believer of this. Having a good voice, like a well modulated voice, increases your aesthetic charm. Can I get an exclamation mark if you agree? Whether it's for males or females, if they sound good, as we say in Tagalog, ang guwapo ng boses, ang ganda ng boses. Okay? So, do you agree? Give me an exclamation mark if you agree with that. So, if you can teach them certain aspects that they unfortunately will not be able to change anything about their face, but they can dress up well, they know how to do proper styling, they're able to manage symmetry, colors, then maybe you can compensate for not being the most good looking person in town, but you don't need to worry about their competency. Meaning, they know how to ask the right questions during sales. They know how to do and manage proper inventory during sales. They have an innovative mind that they can suggest how to promote a new product, for example. Do you agree? So I'm torn between the two, right? But because on the other hand, you can also say, if the person's really good looking, even if they're not good in sales, they can charm their way out of a customer. They can flirt with a customer. They can sweet talk the customer. So you don't, to begin with, need to be good in sales just for you to make a sale. Right? Okay, Domingo says, John, I always watch your videos. Thank you. This is my first ever comment. Why? Why are you only commenting now? My question is, does good look only refer to the physical characteristics or attire and clothing as well? Looks refer to everything, including what you put on. Makeup, how you change your hair. Okay? So are you familiar with the enclothed cognition effect? I have not heard of it, but I would assume based on your question that this refers to when someone is clothed in a nice way, a luxurious way, it changes the perception about the person. Is that it? Type in the chat box, please, Domingo. But yeah, good looks doesn't have to be about, I mean, not everyone's going to be born with the most symmetrical face. I also am a big believer of this. I've seen a lot of women who I think are so good looking because they have proper eyelashes and makeup, but when they take it out, I can't recognize the person anymore. Can I get an exclamation mark if you agree? Sorry, ladies. I might sound judgmental here, but my definition, if someone is good looking for females, is even if you don't need to put on makeup, okay, you're pleasing to the eyes. I don't know. It's just me. Like, I really think that putting on eyelashes transforms a person to the point that I cannot recognize them anymore. I've met people wherein I'm walking along the street and then they bump into me and say, John, how are you? And at the back of my mind, like, gosh, I don't know who this person is. And the person is, it's me, Anna. Don't you remember? And then I remember Anna, the one that I was working with for my motivational talk because she was on full on makeup. And like, Anna, yes. And then I just need to say, sorry, I just woke up, I just need to make a lie because it's a totally different person. So, yes, makeup can dramatically transform you. And I also think that if you were not blessed with the right looks, but if you have the money can change how you look. Yes, money can change how you look. JV on LinkedIn a while ago says, what I am getting is I'm choosing between what training I can and I'm willing to provide to the employee. Okay. How about our TikTok folks? RB Del Mundo says, I had rhinoplasty and other stuff just to fit my job. Well, ha ha ha. I think 10 years ago, we would look down on people who had to do something about their looks. But I think in today's modern world, and at least for my generation, which is also my personal perception, I don't care. Because number one, it's not like everything in this world is 100% natural. Just by virtue of what you eat, which you can control if you have a good amount of money, is already changing how you look. Clothes can change how you look. My personal interpretation of it is it should not be different when it comes to undergoing a surgery or a cosmetic procedure, for example. Uh, June is asking, what makes a person interesting? That's a philosophical question. Looks can be part of that. But for me, okay, this is just me. This for me is okay, let's flip the question. Let's change the question. If there is one thing that will make you be turned off to a person, no matter how good looking they are, what would that be? And I'm talking about, let's first ask the question in a corporate setting at work, what will make you be turned off to someone, even if they're so good looking? Gladiators in suits. I would love to see your answers. Could you please type in the chat box? What would that be? What would that be? Could you please type? I'll give you a few seconds for this. Super good looking, tall, okay? Everything else, athletic, goes to the gym. But if you found this out about this person, you just shut down. Your perception of this person being sexy goes away. What is that for you? Character, says Maybell. Jurl says body language. Let me go back to this response from Domingo. He says, the enclothed cognition effect means that psychological upshot that when someone wears an attire related to their dream job, it increases their productivity and performance. Okay, otherwise known as dress what you want to become. So if you dress to become a boss, you end up feeling that you are a boss. You end up performing like a boss, and you fulfill that prophecy. Yes, I agree with this because the mind is so powerful this way. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that label. I'm going to use that in my future talks. Okay. Character also for Daryl Rivera. He says, Pat, dirty fingernails. I agree. I was doing a talk for a real estate company a few hours ago. And I was telling them good looks matter as a salesperson when you're selling a condominium unit or an office space, because why will someone want to buy something from you if your fingernails are dirty? And I think the reason why I think we judge people with dirty fingernails because it's one of the things that are mostly visible, and it's also one of the easiest to clean. You don't need soap and water. You can be dry doing it. You can do it everywhere as well. So if you don't have clean fingernails, I think it is your choice not to have clean fingernails because you don't make the time for it. Agree? Can I get an exclamation mark if you agree with that? Yes? I'm looking at some more answers in the chat box. Ariel Fontiveros is mahangin or arrogant. You know, I so agree. I think arrogance puts me off. Arrogance, meaning the person knows that they're really good looking and they make you feel that they enjoy the attention. I agree. This puts me off. Lack of initiative, says Julifer. I agree. That's also one. Okay. Body odor. Orchids, I agree. I come from a family where we have a very sharp sense of smell, which I think is the same skill of Tanjiro in Demon Slayer, by the way. I'm about to sneeze, but I just don't know if I'm ready to sneeze in front of you guys. So I'm finding a way not to sneeze. Rubia says the habit of shouting at coworkers. Okay. Paolo Bustamante says the character is still the highest percentage in my opinion. You can be good looking all you want, but if you have a bad character, looks really won't count. I agree. May I also add, okay, this is me. If I'm on a date with someone, how do I say this without people bashing me? When I am on a date with someone, one of the things that I talk about and I ask is their ambition in life. And I'm not asking you to become an astronaut to be the first person to land on Mars. I'm not asking you to be a billionaire. I just need to know that you want to become someone who can, in their little way, humble way, can contribute to society. I want you to have a purpose and I want you to have an ambition. If this element is absent and you can't even properly tell me what it is, especially when I'm at this age where I would assume that if because you're also an adult, you also have thought about this. But if you can't, it just really shuts me down. So here's where I'm gonna find a way to, friend zone the person. I also think that among my team members, it's the one thing that I encourage them to possess: a sense of ambition. Can I get the letter A if you're in the same boat? Ambition, purpose, having a self awareness that life is not just about having a car, having a house, having children. Those are nice things to have, but there is so much more to life than that. I think life is also about leaving a legacy involving what did you contribute for less fortunate folks to be uplifted in life. I keep that accountability to myself. I'm going to sound like I'm so virtuous about it, but I think it's an obligation that someone should take on, especially if you feel that you are already blessed in life. Josh Peralta says it's your Ikigai. I agree. The Japanese word Ikigai refers to the concept of why. Why do you live and for what do you live for? It is that Nescafe commercial that states, para kanino or saan ka bumabangon tuwing umaga? For whom or for what do you wake up for in the morning? Okay? Sense of maturity says, ako si Frisco Loco on TikTok. Agree? Maturity also matters. Maturity in the sense of having a sense of responsibility. Maturity for me sometimes also involves, I find it sexy that when someone is at a certain age, while drinking out is such a good thing, they also understand that drinking is going to eat up their entire Saturday or Sunday because their body needs to recuperate. And so they have the discipline not to do that anymore because there are other things that you should do. Don't get me wrong. I will spend certain Fridays and Saturdays going out with friends and really commit to an empty Saturday. But I will not be doing that on a weekly basis. I think there's the importance of diversifying how you should be working. Tanjiro, did you pee on bed again? Huh? Come here. Okay, some folks may not have seen yet my dog. If it's your first time to join us, this, ladies and gentlemen, saying hello, is Tanjiro. Tanjiro is named after my favorite character from my favorite anime, Demon Slayer. Say hello. He's got a long snout. Father is a Dachshund, but mother is a German Shepherd. By the way, this is just me being obsessed about the pronunciation. Dachshund is a German word, and so they don't pronounce it as Dachshund. It's Dachshund, meaning Dachshund. Dax is referring to the badger, as in the literal badger animal that goes into holes. And then Hund is hound, someone who searches for it. Because Dachshunds were bred to search for badgers who were pests in farms in the old days. And so the German, yes, therefore he's 100% German because he's a German, half German Shepherd and half Dachshund. Right, Tanjiro? He's an adopted kid. He's 2 years old. And he came from a sibling pool of 9. So there, we're going to be doing a walk in a while. Yes, he's very handsome as well. Uh, okay. May we request for some likes and some hearts for Tanji, please? That's the reason why we're showing him on screen. Okay. You see that? By the way, he's very short, but he has a long body like a dachshund as well. Okay, Tanji, let's go down now. Thank you. Okay. Halfway through our conversation, let's give away some tickets now. We're going to be giving away 3 tickets per platform, 5 for TikTok for our upcoming workshops. Boost your confidence, email etiquette in business writing, leadership in hybrid work era, and level up your social media marketing. The ticket is 1,799 pesos. We want to give away 3 tickets per platform, 5 tickets for TikTok, and you can bring a +1 when you attend the session. Now, if you win, please send us a private message so we can give you instructions on how to claim your prize and include the name of your +1. If you happen to be not available for this session, you can transfer the ticket to someone else. So I'm going to repeat. This is happening on June 21, Wednesday, 3-hour session each. So 9:30 to 12:30 and 2 to 5 p.m. And the next session is on June 24, Saturday. Okay, let's do that. Facebook folks, can you see me? LinkedIn folks, can you see me on screen? Just trying to move. Can you guys see me? Yes. Domingo Sobel says, Tanjiro's good looks will help him succeed as a dog. Hopefully. Just want to share because I'm so proud of Tanjiro. You know his ambition? He whispered to me, he wants to join the agility dog show. So I'm kidding you not. I can leave Tanjiro behind in front of the television and he watches the agility show for an hour. He really just watches the show. So whenever I need to go out for a talk, I just keep the television on. And when I go back, he's still watching the show. So yeah, he's going to be that dog. Okay, so you guys are ready for a question? I hope you guys are. Yes. We are going to be asking you guys to give me a category for this question. Give me a category, please. Science, health, math, music. So I'm going to ask a trivia question, and the first people who get this right is going to win. I'm looking at the chat box. Math. Uy, math daw oh. I'm not good in math. Math was my Achilles heel. It was my weakness when I was in school. I did get an uno when I took calculus in university, but it's only because it was a summer class. So it was the only subject I took. But that was one of my proudest moments in my life. Okay. Ooh, arts, says Maybell. History. Okay. Let me decide that this question, let's make it geography. I hope that's okay. Geography. Okay. So my question is, the deepest part of planet Earth, obviously in the ocean, is actually located in the area of jurisdiction or the responsibility of the Philippines. Tell me, what is this deepest part? Okay? Galing naman ng mga nasa TikTok. TikTok, folks, you guys are so fast. Super bilis. I already got an answer from our participants. Thank you for that. Okay, so just so you know, the correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is the Marianas Trench. Okay, the Marianas Trench. I am going to check out now. Sorry, my phone's gonna wobble for a bit for TikTok folks. Sorry for that. My winners are, first is on TikTok, 𝗧𝗢𝗚, congratulations. The second winner is Prince, congratulations. The third winner is Spray Boy Laguna, congratulations. And the last two is BTS 𝗬𝗎 and ano yung mga pangalan nyo Benj Silvano. Congratulations. Mariana's Trench. Okay. Congratulations. Please send me a private message so we can give you tickets to our upcoming workshop. That's for 2 tickets per winner. Now, for our winners on Facebook, my winners are Rubia Galeros. Second winner is 𝗨𝗪 Third winner is Carl Sarmiento. That's it. That's for Facebook. Okay, munti ko nang tumawag ng pangalan on Facebook yan. My winner on LinkedIn is Gladys Merto. Congratulations. Second winner is Jeffrey letter N. Fourth is Pat Malong. Congratulations. Also on LinkedIn. And then finally, my winner on YouTube Live. First one is Maybel Casiple. Congratulations. Second winner, hindi lumalabas ng pangalan niya. We only have 2 winners on YouTube. Second winner on YouTube is Martin Capistrano. Martin Capistrano. Congratulations to our winners. Okay? If you didn't win, we'd love to invite you to please get your tickets. See us live in the flesh and learn about career improvement. June 21, June 24, SMX Convention Center in SM Aura, Fort BGC. Okay? You can get your tickets by going to our website, and that is jonathan.yabut.com. Okay? Can I get an exclamation mark? Let's congratulate our winners, please. Let's do that. Let's congratulate our winners. Okay. Thank you. Let's continue our session. I think I can do 5 questions before 7 p.m. Let's answer this quickly. If you have any questions, please cut and paste them again because I might have missed them out. Okay? A lot of people have already typed. Baka nabaon na yan from the chat box. So please do that. Okay, let me just also... Oh, yeah, next question, please, Dao. Okay, let's answer this question. This one was asked a while ago pa, but I'm going back to it now. Okay. John, do you think it's okay to spend a big chunk of money on clothes so this one's on YouTube. I don't know why, but I can't show the YouTube comments on display. So let me just read this. John, do you think it's okay to spend a ridiculous amount of money and invest it on clothes because power dressing is also important for your success? What do you think of this? Okay. One, it's been scientifically proven that we buy items if they have good packaging. If you look at Lazada and Shopee, you likely buy items if there's good lighting, the packaging has good font, the brand logo has good font. Same thing also in groceries. If it looks very pleasing to the eye, it catches your attention and you will likely grab it from the gondola. I'll give you one interesting study. If you happen to be a mother, you will notice that milk brands, infant formula milk, whether they're in boxes or in their canisters, do you notice that they all have glittering colors? Gold, metallic silver, metallic purple, metallic blue. Can I get an exclamation mark if you notice that? Notice that for a lot of milk products. And you might be wondering, why would they need to change the colors when the kids who will be drinking this milk likely don't have any idea what it is, right? But the answer here is because they look like jewelry. They're shining, shimmering, splendid because the target markets are mothers. And we know this for a fact, a lot of women like shiny things. Can I get the letter S if you agree? So yes, packaging does get the attention and increases purchase intent. I think the same thing applies to clothes. Okay? When you look, I mean, that's the reason why we wear office clothes to begin with. When you look more respectable, when you look sharp, and I'm not even talking about clothes that are expensive. I'm talking about clothes that are simply with a good fit. This is why, this is me being a marketing person. If you know me as a friend, I am not a big fan of branded clothes. I am not a big fan of branded cars and all these things because as a marketing person, my mindset and my philosophy is I don't want to spend this amount of money, even if I will have the millions of money in the world, because I don't think that it's worth what I'm paying for. I will only have a certain ceiling for clothes. I will not be spending 30,000 pesos, 50,000 pesos for a suit. This is just me. My default mindset lagi is 50,000 pesos. I could have gone to Europe already for that amount of money. I could have spent that amount of money for scholarships for kids. I don't need to spend that for clothing, especially if I won't be wearing it every day anyway. Okay? So, yes, clothes do matter. But I think you don't need to buy the most expensive branded ones. As long as you look fit, as long as the colors are also professional. I'm talking about, you don't buy neon green or neon pink for a job interview unless it's a creative job interview for an advertising agency. So go and spend, but moderation should always be in the picture as well. By the way, speaking of looks, a lot of research shows that if you wear blue, black, or white in your job interviews, it exudes a feeling that you are leadership material. This is why blue is my favorite color, by the way. Pat says, kaya pala gold si Pro Milk. Another reason why milk brands have metallic colors because it gives you the feeling of premium. Because when something looks expensive, it's sending the message you only want what's best for your children. You want what's the most expensive for them. You will never scrimp for your own kids. Okay, see the consumer insight there. Also, speaking of professionalism, white is always going to be a good neutral color. And I think white is good because no matter how many times you use it, and even if you use it every day, even if you wash it, it doesn't look like you are wearing the same shirt. So I think it's a very safe color, white or black or blue. Some people call you out if you've been wearing the same clothes, not for white, not for black. Arvin Cebolino on YouTube says, are there any potential downsides or challenges that come with relying on good looks for professional advancements? Yes, there is what we call as the paradox of beauty in the corporate world. What does that mean? The paradox of beauty is if you happen to be very good looking, people get intimidated such that people do not approach you. So they don't end up asking you questions. They don't end up mingling with you. Sometimes you are left on your own and you wonder why. And people have this mindset that if you are good looking, you're untouchable. Can I get another exclamation mark if you can relate to that? Right? I agree. Sometimes if my crush is in that side of the table, because I'm shy, I don't want to feel rejected, I'd rather not speak. That's a paradox of beauty in the corporate world. So, doesn't always work outright for you. There are also very backward thinking people who have this mindset if you happen to be good looking, you're stupid. If you happen to be just all about your clothes and your makeup, you're not as smart as they are, such that you have to prove them wrong. The best film to explain this is, gosh, I forgot this film. I was about to say, but I forgot it. What's that film of Reese Witherspoon, and she was a lawyer? Because she is known to be this, cheerleader, all these things. People don't think that she will succeed in law school. What's that film again? Could you please, gosh, guys, tell me what, please remind what that is. Legally Blonde. Yes, that's the film, Legally Blonde. That's an example. You have been judged already for what you can contribute to society just because they think you're too good looking. And it's not always to your favor. Right? So that's the downside. Okay. Let's look at some more questions. Is there Legally Blonde? I think there's Legally Blonde too, no? Is there? Because I think I keep on seeing it. I haven't seen the part two though. TikTok. Nin Collins says, what is your take on confident is the new beautiful? I agree. Nothing can replace confidence. I think that no matter how aesthetically challenged you are, see what I did there? I didn't use the word ugly. I said aesthetically challenged. Okay. No matter how aesthetically challenged you are, I do believe that confidence can compensate, because confidence is all about, I don't care what other people think. I'll do what I need to do. And that is sexy. Give me a letter S in the chat box if you find someone who's confident, confident to speak, confident to ask questions, confident to enter a room without the apprehension of being judged. Give me a letter S if you find that sexy. And when I say confident, they know what they want, but they're not arrogant. Because sometimes confidence borders to arrogance. So there's a thin line, but confidence just enough for the person to still be approachable. They know what they want, but they respect people's boundaries also. So I agree. Which is why sometimes if you're not good looking enough, you can compensate through your clothes or your confidence. I think even between the two, clothing, makeup, and confidence will still trump. Because people will forgive. You know, when you're confident, people will think, he doesn't care what people think of his clothes. Maybe that's his clothing is the trendy type of clothing instead. Some people can think that way. Or they will just simply forgive what your clothes are because they will say, it's just who they are. So I'm going to forgive them even if I don't like the same taste of clothes. Which is why you guys need to attend our upcoming workshop on June 24, Saturday, Boost Your Confidence, the Art of Public Speaking. And this is all about how can you confidently pitch your thoughts in a meeting, how can you preside in workshops, how can you talk to someone like a client or your boss. That's happening on June 24, Saturday morning, 9:30 to 12:30 p.m. Tickets are available in our website, jonathanyabuth.com. O, diba? I was able to insert and promote our workshop. Oh, I like this statement from Domingo. He says, confidence is the perfect balance between being agreeable and being aggressive. I'm with you in that sentence. Enzo is asking on TikTok, how do you handle a fake busy employee and complaining and broadcasting their loaded work? I would do a heart-to-heart talk. And I want to understand what is the reason why they have to fake it. Number two, without having to do a heart-to-heart talk, I'm really going to give them proper workload such that they will not have time to fake it anymore because they just really have to be busy about it. But more than anything else, I'd go for the motivation. I'm gonna investigate. I'm gonna ask the question, why? Why do you need to do this? What's your objective? I want to help you. I want you to be better. I'm on your same team. Okay. Okay, how? I think I missed that question. Okay, I like this. This is from Jen Alto. How to not feel guilty when delegating tasks to junior members. First, I'd like to know, why do you feel guilty when you are aware that you're simply doing your job to delegate tasks? Why should you feel guilty? It's what they signed up for. It's what they're being paid for. It's their expectations in the first place. That's one. You have to ask what's causing that. Number two, can I put in some theory? Maybe the reason why you are afraid is because you don't want to offend others because there's a lot of work to do. The key to managing that feeling is to explain to them why there is such a ton of workload to accomplish. Okay? Why are they doing it? And what's in it for them? What's in it for the company? If you don't explain this properly to them, you will feel naturally that you're dumping work and that you find it unfair. So you have to explain the why. Because when a person understands why they're doing it, they will understand the motivation to drive themselves to do it. Okay? Number two. Number three, you don't need to impose it. You don't need to instruct it. You can be consultative in your approach. So whenever I give my teams, for example, a new project, I'll tell them, okay, so here's what needs to be done, X, Y, and Z. Can you please tell me, can we submit this on Friday? Or can you challenge me if you think that 2 days are not enough? And then I will let them say, maybe Monday is better. Maybe Tuesday is better. This way, I do not feel bad that I am dictating everything to them. Because I'm consultative in my tone, I know that this is a team effort in which we have to negotiate with each other what is the best and fastest way to get it done. You will not feel bad if you use this approach. Can I get an exclamation mark from our folks if you agree? Okay. Also, more than anything else, if you act like a doormat, you will be treated like a doormat by your people. So if you act like you're scared and people will detect that you are scared, people will take advantage of that feeling and you will lose credibility at some point. And even if you impose deadline, they will tell to themselves, my boss is afraid of me. What's the point? I don't need to follow everything that she says. And you don't want to be in that position in the future. Okay? 𝗧𝗢𝗚 on LinkedIn is asking this question. John, what are your thoughts in the saying, jack of all trades, but master of none? Pros and cons will always be in the same picture. It's good to be the jack of all trades because that means you have the flexibility to move from one department to another, to move from one company to another. You will not have a hard time learning because you already have the baseline. You have the foundations of the concepts. I also think, however, that, and this is proven, people with the most expensive jobs, meaning the highest paying jobs, are jobs that have the least number of people who have mastered it. Can I get an exclamation mark if you agree? I'll give you an example. There aren't a lot of plumbers in the world because no one wants to do that job. And yet, plumbers relatively earn a lot for what they do. Okay? So meaning, the more niche your role and your job is, the likely that the supply of workers are less and therefore the price for it is higher. So there is value to mastering your job, especially if you're the only one who has mastered it. Okay, from a financial perspective, it is financially fulfilling because the market value for that specific job is going to be higher. I also think that if you happen to be a master of something, promotions are going to be easier. It also feels good because you get to control the situation. You know, for example, if you're the only one in the company who knows AI and who knows how AI works, you're likely going to be assigned as the team leader for projects involving AI. And the advantage there is that you get to have a level of predictability. You can set the rules, the guidelines. You can be promoted to the department of AI or the team leader for AI. So that gives you an advantage for career progression also. Okay? If your question, Gladish, is for me to choose between the two, oof, it's hard. Why did I even ask that question to myself? I'm not gonna choose any. It will really depend on your situation. Okay? Okay, let me change my mind. I think I'd rather be a jack of all trades than a master of none. Why is that? Because I know that I'm a fast learner. So I'd rather be a jack of all trades so that if I need to master something in the future, I can do it because it will not eat up so much of my time and effort. Versus, I may be a master of one, but there are circumstances in life where I need to learn something else. And because I have zero knowledge about it, because I'm not the jack of all trades, I end up delegating it to someone or hiring someone and paying someone to do it instead. So there. Okay. Uh, let's capture one more question. Is that cool? Before we pick a question, can I ask another poll from our participants? Okay. My question is this. So we're still faithful to our topic about your thoughts on can good looks help you succeed at work. Okay. So please type letter A or letter B. Do you think that a good looking person, okay, no judgment for this question. Do you think that a good looking person has a high probability of intelligence than a not so good looking person, letter A, or letter B? Do you think that there is no correlation at all to looks and intelligence? What do you think? Do you think that looks, a person, and I'm not talking about good looking alone. I'm talking about, let's say, the person looks clean, the person smells clean, the person seems to be wearing a good quality brand of clothing. Okay? So I'm talking about these things. So do you think that you can correlate that with intellect? Or letter B, no, I don't think that there is zero relationship at all. It is so random. You will never find out. What are your thoughts? So I'm looking at the chat box right now. We got some letter A's. Okay. On TikTok, we got some letter A's. On Facebook and LinkedIn, we got mostly letter B. Now we got some A's as well. Okay. I'm not here to tell the right answer because there is no right answer. It's how you perceive it. I do, however, wish that there is a scientific journal out there that correlates, are good looking people likely intelligent also? Maybe there is. Maybe it's a matter of Google search. What's my personal take? Number one, I do think it's random. I do think that you will never be able to correlate aesthetic value to intelligence. I do see, however, that there can be a causation. What do I mean? If you happen to be good looking and you've been working for a long period of time, you probably have earned a lot of things such as money, resources, driver, technology that allows you to get things done faster and more efficient. Therefore, because you were good looking and remain to be good looking, you're ahead in life. It gives you that advantage. Domingo says on LinkedIn, I think there must be a letter C. Can intelligence manifest in being aware and competent in looks? Can intelligence manifest in being aware and competent in looks? Yeah. Uh, yes, but I want our questions to be binary related. So looking at the chat box, kids can tell. On TikTok says it still depends. RB Del Mundo says people that are not good looking are compensating on what their obvious weakness is. Pwede. Okay. This is my personal impression. I remember one time one of my best friends asked me this question, John, why have I never seen you with a branded clothing, like a luxury brand? Like, you know how on TikTok, for example, people flaunt that they have European brands, Italian or French name brands. And I made a joke and told my friend, because I don't think I need to wear a Gucci bag or a Gucci shoes because I already have my personality. Can I get an exclamation mark? My friend didn't like it because he's the type who wears those types, who wears those branded clothing. So I think he got offended when I said that. But this is just really me. Like, what is your purpose for wearing something like that? Especially when the clothing and the shoe has a very loud, it's loud words in capital letters. Are you implying that you're better than me just because you're wearing it? Are you implying that you're richer than me? And even if you are, so what? For all I care, I think that is actually on installment for 12 months using your BPI credit card. I don't know. Okay? I don't see the point. Why you need to do that and why you need to flaunt it. I understand that some people are after the quality, but luxury brands, let's face it, most people wear luxury brands because they want to flaunt it. They want to send a message to the world that I can't afford it. Therefore, I think I'm better than you because you can't. That's just me. And so that is the reason why I don't wear them at all. And I don't patronize them at all. Some people feel good about it, but even the internal feeling that you feel so good about it is also a commercial feeling. It's the feeling of finally I can afford these things. Finally, I can manifest that these things are mine because I've worked hard for it. Okay? That's just my personal thought. And I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to judge and say you're wrong. You're immorally wrong. That's what I'm saying because it's your money, it's your hard work, go spend for it and I'll be happy for you. What I don't like, however, are people who deliberately think and deliberately act on they deliberately operate on the assumption that if they can afford these things now, they can tell the world that they are way better than others. I think that's a wrong way, and that's not giving justice to the hard work of people who work in luxury brands. Because there is craftsmanship. I get that. Someone says, there, may Gucci bag nga, pero ang laman naman katingko. Oy, katingko is good ah. If you're a tito like me, I use katingko or Vicks because I always get sneezes. I get a stuffy nose. Trying to look at some comments on TikTok as well. 1010. Okay, let's move the question. What are your thoughts on seeking high paying jobs, stayed shortly, or stayed longer to seek for a higher position? We're going to talk about this in another session. It's about job hopping. It is true that one of the strategic ways to quickly increase your salary is to move from one company to another every 2 to 3 years. That is way faster than staying in the same company for 10 or 20 years because by tradition, HR and management only gives you a 2% to 10% increase for being an internal hire and moving the ladder versus when you are an external hire, you've been pirated from a different company, your jump could be as high as 20 to 30%. Imagine doing that every 2 to 3 years. You're really going to have a high chance of improving your salary. Okay? Is that wrong? I don't think so. I think it's always good to seek for what's best for you as long as you do proper turnover, as long as you don't disrupt a project wherein you deliberately abandoned it just because you had to quit your job. I think that no one will take good care of your career but you. So it's okay to be selfish because remember, as long as you're not forfeiting any contract, as long as you're not hurting anyone, I think you should always aspire for what's best. And job hopping for certain people, it could be a strategy that can work to their advantage. Of course, just be mindful. I think when you've already started to age and grow, you can't afford to move anymore because moving is such a costly thing to do. you end up changing your set of friends, your environment, your colleagues every 2 to 3 years. That's going to be exhausting at some point. That's also where you become a jack of all trades rather than a master of none. Because moving every 2 to 3 years, you may have not properly mastered this industry or this skill. And now you have to move on to a different organization and start anew. So it's good or bad. It it cuts both ways. Okay? Gladiators in suits. Could you give me a letter P as in power if you think that this talk was powerful for you and you learned something or you enjoyed what we've been talking about? Would love to see that. Give me an exclamation mark if you enjoyed our conversation also this afternoon or this evening. Evening na pala, it's 7 p.m. I'm late for my dinner. Okay, thank you. We're gonna catch you again. I don't want to promise tomorrow. Might do another live at 6 p.m. If not, 9 p.m. Okay? It's your call, guys. I mean, I'm just going to be here. You do your own thing. But let's see if we'll be able to do a live session tomorrow because I might go out also again with friends and colleagues. Thank you. We are very grateful that you're here with us. As I always say, I think the speaker is only as good as the audience. I will not be able to have fun in these conversations if you also don't interact and put in your contributions. So thank you for joining our conversation today. If nabitin kayo and you'd like to hear more about what we talk about with careers, you can catch us on Spotify. We have a podcast, Grit to Great. We talk about careers, leadership, and success, co-hosted by my brother Jed. Our best-selling books are available in National Bookstore, fully booked. We have an ongoing 50% off discount week on Lazada and Shopee. Everything will be all right. From grit to great, nagbenta na talaga ako, di ba? Fast forward, and of course, single, taken, or building my empire. All of these books are about career management. It's about leadership. It's about improving your visibility. It's about managing politics at work when you have conflicts with other people. And we hope that you get to be inspired with our books. Okay? And of course, log on to our website, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 if you'd like to learn more about our workshops and if you'd like to invite us for your private companies to speak and inspire your employees. Okay? Thank you. Have a happy night. Stay safe and catch you soon. Bye, guys.